Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 35 of For the Minions, the weekly show where we track some of the Paragon-esque games that should be coming out in the near-ish future. I'm your host, the one and only Goose. Joining me, as always, is my lovely co-host, MandiMal. Mandy, how you doing?
I'm doing good, and I'm excited because I'm weirdly excited because we're going to talk about Genesis, and I didn't think I'd be excited to talk Genesis, but I am. So we also have a really exciting returning guest. He really needs no introduction. I mean, Mr. MOBA himself. We have Britik. How are you?
Oh, whoa! I want to go that far. That's
Mr. MOBA.
too much, but I like that. I might not have to change my name now. Yo, thank you
Go
so
for
much
it.
for having me back on the
You
show.
can
It's always
have
a lot of
that.
fun. It's always a lot of fun to be on this show. I love you guys. You guys are always so much fun.
I'm sure everybody knows who Britik is, but Britik, just go ahead and give us, your little rundown of your background, just in case people don't know you.
Yeah, so as both with Mongoose and MandiMal, I was really big in the Paragon community. I was one of the first Paragon YouTubers to start making guides and tips videos for Paragon. And then once Paragon shut down, I started following these projects. I first started off with Visionary Games, who I hope are still alive. I believe in them. And I started off with them with Project Phoenix Rising, and then another one popped up, and then another one popped up, and then I just kept following them along and kept making news videos for these projects, and they're still working. So I still make the news videos when they are big news, but I mostly leave that up to Mongoose now because he's just got such an awesome setup going on here that I feel like he just covers everything that I usually can't. Especially with the release of Genesis, I've been really focusing on that a lot, and that's another big reason as to why I'm here, so I can talk about that and educate people who might not know what Genesis is, about what's going on. Yeah, that's just about it.
Yeah, Ethereal, I've often said, is my favorite. I never would have known about Ethereal if it wasn't for you. You're the one that turned me on to that game right there.
Wow, it's like we're setting each other up with dates. We're like each other's wingmans. This is great.
That's right. You guys are the ultimate wingman.
And you're the cock blocker.
That's me. That's what I'm here for.
So let's move on into news and updates. Most of the news and updates this week, not a lot went on. It mainly came from Omega. They were adding in movement speed penalties for auto attacking, which I think you don't get a penalty if you are melee, but you do if you miss if you're melee, but you do if you're ranged. I think that's good. I think that's balanced. I think that's how it worked in Paragon. I'm not exactly sure. Britik, do you know?
Movement delay with melee heroes. I think it was just anytime you swung. I mean, this is the same concept with range. Like anytime you auto attack, you had that movement delay penalty, regardless of whether you hit someone or not.
I think they're taking it out for melee if you miss.
Oh, interesting. Oh, that's gonna be cool. Yeah, no, that's slightly different then. Yeah.
Be something to test out, see how it works. I'm sure if it's a little overpowered, they'll change it up, and that's what the alpha's for. And then I mentioned that they were probably going to be doing a 2v2 match. They ended up not doing that. He might still do it this week, so stay tuned to Smokey's channel. They did do an internal 5v5 test, and they did find some more bugs, which is not great news, but it's it's good that they're finding them now before they get everything out and all the games out into the public's hands. So they're trucking forward. Like I said, Predecessor is just picking up the pace lately. They just everything I've been putting out is mainly all Predecessor. So Omega fans rejoice.
Yeah, Smokey's been grinding.
Yeah, he's been on it.
Yeah,
Mandy's the big Omega fan here.
Yeah, I just can't help it. They're like the little hometown hero that I just cheer for, and I just love him so much. And I think he has a really realistic, plan for this game. So that's what makes me so hopeful for it. He seems
and it's great that he actually he like lets people know that, like, hey, we did some tests, but there were some bugs, and we need to fix those. Like, they're not trying to hide that shit. They're letting people know. Oh yeah, we got some problems with the games, but we're trying to fix it.
Yeah.
And also, they're the smallest team, but they've put out by far the most. They've put out a playable game. Nobody else has done that.
Absolutely.
MetaBuff is
as far as
15 heroes, but as far as we've seen. But
but I'm sure like the Ethereal boys got something cooking.
Oh yeah.
We just haven't seen yet.
And they're actually they got a lot more heroes to work on too, Ethereal, and they got to build everything from the ground up.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they have to show. I think the way they're marketing has been going on a little more recently is the best way to go, because I feel like they're just gonna drop bomb and just gameplay. I hope that's the way it goes.
I hope so
Yeah.
soon. Anything else to say about Omega Studios?
I think I'm good.
Well, I really like that Smokey just constantly is answering questions too while he's working on it. I could actually physically see him getting very distracted by that, because he's always answering all these questions that people keep asking, and most of the time they're just questions that he's answered in previous streams too. So I know how he feels about doing that, because when I first started doing the post Paragon project videos, people would do the same to me in my YouTube comments, and that's where the whole meme, like, is it going to be on PS4, came from. It was like, yeah, okay, I've answered this 75,416 times now. Yeah, it's coming. Don't worry. So I want to give a shout out to Sarge and company, and they're doing a great job, and they're doing a Lord's work basically.
Amen.
Now, let's move on to Ethereal. Not much coming from them. They're doing some internal structuring, so there's no big updates for this week. The website update, there was some problems with the with the design of the website, and they had to redo some things there. So that's going to be a little later than I thought too. So my apologies for getting everybody hyped up. I thought I was a little hyped up myself. I'll try to be a little more careful in the future about that and make sure I know for sure when things are going to come out before I announce them like that. So my bad, dog.
It happens to the best of us. I've been getting a lot of oopsies in my pocket lately too. No worries there.
It's so easy to get wrapped up, that hype monster, it grabs you. So it's really easy to do, especially when you're passionate about a project too.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. And
We're all very passionate here. We both said the same thing.
Jinx. And then moving on to Metabuff, they had Opolis sent me some questions that he had answered over, but it was all stuff that I've covered on the show before, and it was all stuff in the frequently asked questions, so I didn't think it was really something to really go over and update. So I know people are thirsty for those core updates, but I just don't got them for you. Sorry. Like I said, they're going to be running silent for a while, just like Visionary Games has been doing for a very long time. Core is probably going to do the same until they have a big bomb to drop on us.
You said thirsty as soon as I started drinking from my water bottle. It was very good timing.
Yeah.
Maybe this is a good opportunity to let people know to check the FAQ and see maybe the question they want to ask is in the frequently asked questions. Maybe check that out.
People don't like to read the frequently asked questions. That's why we're here.
This is true.
Yeah,
That's
no,
okay.
Pretty much. Too long didn't read. That's what it is. No, but since we're here, do you guys think Core's dead?
Do I think Core's dead?
Is Core dead?
No, Core's not dead. Yeah, I've been stepping away.
Mandy. Mandy.
No, I don't think they're dead. I think they hit a hiccup. And they're gonna do their best to roll over it and keep going. Such is the game development life. So I've been led to believe. I don't know anything about. I have never developed the game.
Personally, I'm just a little iffy about the updates that I get from them anymore, because I didn't like the way they presented their PS4 thing in the proof of concept. I think it was very misleading, and I think it was intentionally misleading to make people think that the game was, set and definitely coming to PS4. As I've said a million times, that was just the acceptance of the terms and conditions for Sony, and it is a step in the right direction, but it's a small step, and it's definitely not the step they need to take to get the game on PS4. There's a lot of things they need to do. But the way that was presented in the proof of concept made a lot of people believe that Core is the one that's going to be on PS4 and that none of the other ones are going to be on PS4. So I didn't care for that. I also didn't care for the way they presented the alpha roster changes. They told us that it was the community was asking for these changes. Community wanted Sparrow instead of Revenant. I bought that one. I was like, okay, yeah, I can see where people would want Sparrow instead of Revenant. But then they were like, oh, the community wanted Feng Mao and Decker
instead of
over
Kwong.
FaZe
Instead
and
of
Kwong.
Kwong
I'm like,
FaZe.
no, okay, no.
Yeah, definitely not. Yeah,
Bullshit. That they had to
100%.
replace him because it was programming
Oh,
issues. Like,
totally.
yes,
100%. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, I think they're in the same boat, honestly, as Visionary Games right now. I think they're doing a lot of internal rebuilding.
Yeah.
They've had a lot of drama going on in there, a lot of legal stuff going on in there. I think they're just trying to pick back up where they left off, and they probably lost a lot in the process too. So,
Yeah.
that's probably what they're doing now is they're just retreating and recovering.
Yeah.
But just give them time. I
Mhm.
didn't anticipate anything from any of these companies anytime soon, but Starter Smokey actually has instilled quite a bit of faith in me recently, and
Yeah.
I truly believe he might be able to show us something before the year ends.
Mm.
The other thing with MetaBuff too, on the other side of it, people that have left MetaBuff are constantly sending me stuff, disparaging MetaBuff. But I have no way of knowing if that what they're saying is true either. So, if like the way I'm handling it is, if it affects the game, like if they put out a major gameplay update that I can sink my teeth into and see that it's a real thing, then that's what I'm going to track. As far as the rumors and shit go, I don't give a
Right.
fuck as long as if it's just a bunch of rumors and tea time gossip. I don't give a shit. I want to know about Core and where Core is in the development process. And it sucks for the people that get fired from MetaBuff or leave MetaBuff, and I feel bad for them. But end of the day, everybody wants to know about the game. They don't want to know about all the gossip behind the scenes. So,
Yup. World we live in.
Well said.
and let's move on to Visionary and Phoenix Rising. We don't have anything for them. I did have somebody ask recently what's going on with them, so I'll just go over it real quick. They had a break just like Core did back in November. It was creative differences within their company, and they had a major split. They lost a lot of assets, lost a lot of progress. However, since then, while they have been silent, they have been working really hard. They've got a roadmap. They've got a way ahead. And that way ahead for now is to first make a 3v3 one-lane demo map. That's not what they're trying to make. They're not just making a 3v3 one-lane map. That's just a demo map that they want to show people, how far they've come with. And then after that, they will continue with the full 5 versus 5 3-lane map. So Visionary's not dead. They're just very quiet and very apprehensive about overhyping their game when they have nothing to show for it. So they want to show you the money instead of asking for it. So that's where we are with Visionary Games and Phoenix Rising.
Yeah.
Anybody else got anything?
Just best of luck to them. Keep their, like I said before, keep their little mad scientist coats on. Keep working.
Yeah, even when everyone stops believing in them, that's always the best time to strike and show what they've been working on and just load the whole thing wide open, because it's basically like that situation where you're in high school and there's this kid in class who says he's going to be the next big rapper or whatever, and everyone makes fun of him. He's going to like all these little local open mics and stuff, and everyone's making fun of him and everything. And then a couple of years go by, and then they see him on the Billboard charts, and now they're trying to like, oh, dude, remember me from high school, like all that stuff. So it's probably, if it does blow up, it could be a similar situation to that, and no one's gonna care anymore about all the turmoil and stuff. They're just gonna care that the game's out and they want to play the game, and that's it.
Yeah, well said.
Yes, that's the same way I feel about Core. I think once Core actually releases, all this stuff is just going to be a memory. So,
100% agree. Yeah.
And if you guys want to look into any of these games, I'll include all their social medias in the description below, so you can check out their Discord, YouTube's, whatever they got. But let's move on now to the poll results for this week, which I'm not too happy about. The poll is for the most impactful ultimate. It was between Wraith, Wukong, Yin, and Zinx. Wukong won, by a large margin with 61% of the vote. I think the top comment in the for the poll was from Meow Mix for Men, and I totally agree. He said, like most of us, I thought it should be Wraith's ultimate, and then I voted for stupid busted Wukong. And I think that's right on the money. Wukong, I think his ultimate was probably by far one of the most impactful ultimates in the game, but I don't think it was good. I don't think it was a good thing for the game. And I mean, they did have to pull him out for a while.
it was impactful in the way that made him OP and taking objectives. It wasn't impactful in the sense of strategy and winning in a team fight like Wraith's was. I think definitely Wraith has a more impactful ult there, because there's some crazy stuff you could do with that. I remember multiple times just surprising everybody in the Orb Prime Pit as a 5-man stealth death squad.
Oh man.
It's a wrap. If they don't have wards too, ugly stuff.
Nice. I was never able to pull that off. That's awesome. So anyway, the bracket is set now. I've been doing these for a while, so now we're going to get down to the nitty gritty and find out who you guys think is the most impactful ultimate. And it's going to be Aurora against Wukong, Muriel against Kwong, Kalaria against Sevarog, and Steel against Gideon. And then we'll move on from there, and then find out who's going to be number one.
Steel and Gideon is going to be a hard one.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I think some of these are pretty obvious who's going to win, but I don't know who's going to win between Aurora and Wukong, and I don't know who's going to win between Steel and Gideon.
I would personally, I don't want to affect the polls. I don't want to influence them. I want her to be as unbiased as possible. I'll tell you who I think after, but yeah.
Okay, right on. So now that's it for the polls. Let's move on to the highlight reel. We got 3 of them, 3 new ones. I didn't have to dip into my old clips this time. So and we got one of them from Ruba, friend of the show, part of the show. Ruba, I still need to get him back for tech time, but anyway, let's enjoy the highlight reel. The first clip this week is coming to us from Foolish Bloodhunter playing Kalari, coming in after this Murdoch. Oh, she has to flip away. She has to get away before the Kwong can take her out, but Murdoch does not get away. The crippling dagger threads the needle. We get to watch this again from Murdoch's point of view. Look how far away Kalari is, whipping that dagger out. Oh, it's a deceptively long range on that dagger. He kind of jumped into it, eats the dagger, gets taken out. For this next clip, we got Up Suicidal trying to take the river buff, throws down the ward, smart decision on his part. However, FaZe and Revenant were coming in hot on his tail. He immediately makes it rain. They're going to try and get out. He knocks him right back in with that mine. Where are you going? Nowhere. Picks up FaZe with that R2000 rocket, but Countess hard on his ass, almost takes him out. Very low health. Fing Mao to the rescue, and he walks away. Final clip, got a big old wombo combo. This is from Ruba. He's playing our favorite flat-tittied Rhino here. Watches everybody gets grouped up nice and tight. Comes off the top rope with a big smash and grab, knocks him up. Steel comes down with the shield slam, and holy crap, Sevarog's like, nope, I'm done, I'm out. That takes out 4 members. The fly trap, the smash and grab, the uppercut, the shield slam, the chop, everything just unleashed on that team. We get a slow-mo. Look at this excellently placed fly trap. Brings him in for a group hug. And speaking of group hugs, coming off this top rope is Ruba on Grux. Warlord's challenge into the huge 4-person smash and grab. And then Shoryuken hits him with the uppercut. A big old chop. And Steel is going to seal the deal by slamming that big old shield down. Awesome play. All right, guys, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed those highlights. We're going to move on now to the topic for discussion, and we're going to be talking about Genesis, something that I have zero experience with other than watching other people play, but Mandy's played a little bit, and Britik has played a lot of it, so I'm going to turn it over to...
too much.
Turn it over to Britik. Britik, why don't you let us know about Genesis?
Well, actually, I kind of want to hear Mandy's experience with it first.
Ooh, okay, there we go.
Oh, really? Okay, that makes me nervous. No, I told Goose, it's so funny. I was playing and I was like making little notes because I wanted to have an educated opinion, and I wanted to eventually hopefully make a video on YouTube talking about my opinions on it. And I noticed that all my notes sounded really negative, but I was still having fun. So I was like, this is weird. Like, there's... And I kind of went through them again today. I was like, all of this is, I think, fairly easily fixable. The little things that I've noticed. So I guess I'll just start with my little notes.
Go for it. Let's hear them.
So, the main thing that kind of aggravated me was I personally was having trouble, and this could just be me. I was having trouble staying in a party. Like after every single game, we have to remake a party. Like I said, these are little, these are kind of insignificant and probably can be fixed with patches. But it's just something I noticed. The other thing I noticed is I'm really having a hard time noticing pings on the map. Like when my teammate is like, go to the boss or whatever they call their version of Orb Prime, I was like, oh, I barely noticed that. Like I just, I was having a hard time noticing those. Again, that's probably something that a couple of patches can resolve. And then one thing that I noticed, and I want to hear Britik's opinion on this. I noticed that there's no color difference in abilities if you like say there's 2 Apollos, which there's always 2 Apollos, or 2, what was the other one that I noticed? E60, I think his name is E60. Some of their ability colors were the same color. Like, so in a team fight, I was like, I don't know if that's my guy. I don't know if that's the opposing team's guy. I'm just getting out of there because I don't know whose it was. So that was something that I just noticed easily, I would assume easily fixable with a patch. My biggest thing, and I'm really nervous to say this, I don't like the kill cap. I'm not enjoying the kill cap. Now, every time I've said that to anybody, they have said, you should never be reaching 60 kills anyways. You should never be reaching 60 kills. 90, I would say, these are all statistics I've made up, but 90% of my defeats have probably come from the kill cap. I'm confident enough to say 70% of those have come when we've been ahead as far as having towers down, having objectives completed, but the kill cap gets us every time. So I don't know if that's lack of experience. I don't know. I'm interested. I really want to hear what Britik has to say about the kill cap, because in a way, I think it's innovative. It stands out from other MOBAs. As far as I know, there might be kill caps in other MOBAs that not one that I've ever played. It sets Genesis apart. And I get that it's to keep people from kind of turtling along and prolonged drug out games, but does it make people play too aggressively and forget objectives? That's kind of my, So that's really all I have to say. I think I got everything.
That was pretty good for a little bit of experience. That was actually pretty good. Yeah, you nailed that first statement you said, where it seems like everything is wrong with the game, but you're still having fun with it. That literally nails it right on the head. Like, I'm in the same boat where I made a pros and cons video, and there were at least double the cons that there were to the pros, and the 1 or 2 pros are basically like, it's a fun game. So, let's talk about the kill cap first. So. Yes. The kill cap is a very common way to win right now, because it seems like there's just not that many people who quite grasp the concept of a MOBA. Realize that MOBAs are, PC dominant, and it's the same situation as it was with Paragon, where a lot of console players are trying their very first MOBA for the very first time, and this is also a traditional isometric MOBA like League or Dota 2. It's not like Smite or Paragon where it's a third-person thing. This is a little bit different in that regard. And so they don't really understand the concept of slow pushing a minion wave, diving towers, taking inhibitors, setting waves, rotating, taking bosses, and all that stuff. They kind of just, oh, that's an enemy, I'm going to go kill him kind of thing, especially with the way the targeting system works in the game, where the priority is usually set to the enemy hero, where even if you're farming minions, even if you're taking tower, the game still wants you to focus on the enemy hero. Which you can switch the priorities to structures and minions, but it still prefers heroes. So if a hero is getting like real close to you, and let's say you panic and you forget to switch that priority, the game helps you out a little bit and switches to that hero. For people who are experienced like I am in MOBAs, that's a little annoying, because I know exactly what I want to target at exactly what time. Because sometimes I'm just trying to just blast down the last 10% of the tower's health, but then their tank just jumps in front of me like when a steel would shield slide in front of you and just knock you out of the way. I just try to get the tower, but this guy's in front of me and the game just auto locks back onto him, so I can't get that objective, and then I die under tower because I'm too busy trying to hit that, but in reality I'm hitting the hero. So that's a different thing in itself. But the kill count I like for pubs. I think it's fine. I think, like you said, it keeps games from going out too long. I have not been on the receiving end of losing to the kill count as much as I believe Mandy has. I have been winning a lot. That's a weird flex, but okay moment right there. But I've also been winning quite easily and quite quickly using the MOBA method. Like, we would win games in about 20 to 25 minutes and we would already have their inhibitor down, or they're called barracks in that game. We'll have their barracks down already. So it really just depends on who you're playing against. If you're playing against a good team, then at the end of the game, it'll be like 55 to 55 kills, and then like inhibitors down on both sides, and it'll get really intense because then do you go for their core and risk dying and losing to that kill cap, or do you try and bait them and win with the kill cap? It's really interesting. I think for ranked mode, it could work out. Gotta wait and try that out. My biggest gripe with it is the respawn timers. The respawn timers are very, very short, which makes it hard to push lanes. And there's a mechanic in the game, Mongoose, where instead of backing, you have a teleport, where you can teleport back to base, or you could teleport to an ally structure, like your tower.
Like a
and it's on a
flash in
cooldown.
LoL, right?
Yeah, well, it's like teleport in LoL.
Okay.
So it's on an 80-second cooldown, and you can either choose to teleport back to base, or you could teleport to a tower on your side. So let's say you die, right? You die in the middle of a team fight in the middle of mid lane, and then you die and you have your respawn timer. But when you die, this teleport, it doesn't go on cooldown. So when you respawn, all you have to do is just teleport back to that tower that's in the mid lane, and you're back in the fight right then and there. So it's really hard to push down objectives because the respawn timers are so quick. Or you have to change the teleport mechanic to just be a basic, your typical back, and then you have this teleport mechanic, but it's like a doubled cooldown or something, because it's such a short cooldown that you can do it every time you go back to base, or every time you die, you can do it very, very quickly. So my fix is just to increase the respawn timers. And the way the respawn timers work is they don't go based off of the in-game clock at the top, like in Paragon.
Yeah.
They go based off of your current level. So if you're like a level 8, and even though, you should never be level 8 and 30 minutes into a game, but if you're level 8 and you're 30 minutes into a game, your respawn timer is like 10 seconds, 15 seconds, compared to somebody who's level 20, 25, their respawn timer is, I believe, 40 or 50. I forget what the cap is. But it is very, very, yeah, it's really, it incentivizes you to play the team deathmatch instead of the MOBA, for sure. Especially if the other team has no idea what they're doing and they're just overextending in lane, and you just keep getting easy ganks and you start building a double-digit kill lead. At that point, you kind of just want to death ball and just run them over, because at that point they're so far behind that they can't even team fight you properly unless you really, really mess up. So yeah, so you're right, Mandy. It does feel like more people go for the kills than they do for the objectives. The majority of my games we have won through the kills rather than getting the enemy core. I would like to see that changed. I am a MOBA enthusiast in its classical roots, so I really want to win the MOBA by playing a MOBA and not a team deathmatch. But going back to the positive, it is really, really fun. And I think it's really fun because the action is constant, because people are teleporting back to the fight, because people are constantly keep trying to go for those kills. It stays close. There's also, just like there was in the beginning of the Paragon days, there's a lot of imbalance. There's a lot of heroes that are really, really, really broken right now. They need balancing on their abilities. They're either way too low cooldown, or they stun forever, or they do too much damage, or stuff like that. But there's so many of these broken heroes that you can have like enough to make like a normal 5v5 out of it. And then it's just overpowered versus overpowered. And it's just, that's why it's so funny, because it's not just fun, it's funny, it's hilarious, because you could just do the craziest thing. It's like, oh, I'm gonna press this one button and blow up this person in front of me. Like, that's how most of the assassins are in that game, where you just press the ult and that carry dies. Like, it's basically Countess, but with like way more mobility, and you can dash through walls and catch people off guard. So it's
Nice.
it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. Yeah. What I really like about it, so it gets a lot of inspiration from Dota 2 in its jungle. in the sense that very similar mechanics. There's jungle camp stacking, kind of like what Sylphan was talking about in the original meta buff proof of concept video for the jungle, where the jungle camp minions respawn at the top of every minute in game time. And what you can do is, let's say you get to the jungle camp at 50 seconds or a minute 50 or whatever, 10 seconds before they're supposed to respawn. You attack the jungle camp and you pull it away from its spawn position. It's going to chase you. And then at that top of the minute, another one's going to spawn in the same place, even if you're still fighting the old one. So that's called stacking. You're stacking minions on top of each other. And so knowing how to do that it's a pretty hard mechanic to master, because you have to have good timing, because you have to time doing that. You have to gank, you have to get the river buffs, you have to get ward placement control. So it's a lot of stuff, and it's really deep in that sense, which is really, really nice. And so it doesn't just seem like go to lane and kill the other dude. It's not that simple. There is depth to it. There are different bosses. So there's not just like raptors are here and Orb Prime is here. There are 2 different monster pits, and they're completely random. So you could have
nice.
There are, I believe, 5 bosses in the game, and 2 spawn at the same time. And then this one can be like the tier 5 god boss, and this one can be like the tier 2 boss. Or next game, this one can be the tier 1 boss, this can be the tier 3 boss. And then when you kill them, 5 minutes go by, and then the next one respawns, and it's completely random. And each one of these different bosses drops an item. They don't drop a buff, they drop an item that you cannot buy in the shop. So you pick up this item, and it's a very, very strong team-based item that has a very strong team-based ability. For example, the strongest boss in the game drops 2 items. He drops something called an incarnation device, where for 5 minutes, if you die, you wait 5 seconds, and then you incarnate. You respawn with full health on one character.
Okay.
One character. Very, very strong late-game item. The other one enhances your minions, basically how the prime cards did in Paragon, so they attack faster, do more damage to structures, and all that. Yeah, so that's like the final tier boss. And there's like another boss, for example, where you kill him, and he drops this tanky item, which passively increases your health and health regeneration. But it's also an active, where when you press it for 5 seconds, you get like 40% damage reduction, and also 40% damage reflection. So it's a very, very, very strong item. And you basically get it for free if you kill the boss. You don't have to spend any gold on it. What's also really cool is that some of these items, when you die, you drop the item on the ground and the enemy team can take it. So if you're in the boss pit and you're fighting over that and you kill the boss, but you have to get out of there alive still, because if the enemy team comes in there and kills you, now they can take the item, and now they got the item in their pocket. You might have gotten the gold from killing the boss, but they got the item now. So there's plenty of potential for this game. There's tons of potential for this game. They definitely need, like I said in my pros and cons video, they need to fix their targeting system to be a little more specific, so I can have a little more control with it. I think they need to double the respawn timers to incentivize the MOBA gameplay aspect of it a bit more. I personally don't know which way I lean on the kills. At first, I was like, yeah, I don't think this is going to be a good idea. But after playing it a little more, it's definitely a good thing, because games on average are about 30 minutes. They don't go past 30 minutes, which is nice in its own ways, because sometimes you want to just have a 20-minute, 30-minute game, but you also want to play a MOBA. Whereas most MOBAs are like 40-minute, 45-minute, stuff like that. Actually, my league games are 30 to 45-minute usually. Sometimes they can go to an hour if both teams don't know how to end the game. But yeah, overall, I mean, Mandy just summarized it with that one statement where there's a lot of things it needs to work on, but it's still fun. So that's very, very interesting. One thing I do want to mention, though, which has become a very hot topic as of this morning, is their microtransaction system, and the way you acquire their heroes. So it's a free game, so obviously you're going to have microtransactions. That's the business model. And you can buy skins. You can buy skins for your wards. You can buy skins for your weapons, kind of like how Omida Studios gave that scythe to Sevarog as a weapon skin. Okay, similar concept. There are also loot crates in there, so you can buy keys to the loot crates, try to get skins out of those. And the way their hero unlock system works is that you can play the game, and after you win, you get a certain amount of in-game currency. And if you build up enough of this in-game currency, you can purchase a hero to unlock permanently. They have a free hero rotation going on constantly, like Smite. But if you grind the game enough and you like somebody, you can buy them with the in-game currency, and it'll be fine. Everything will be fine and dandy. You also have the option just to buy them flat out with real money. If you don't want to grind for it, you just buy it. Same exact concept as League of Legends. Very, very good business model. I actually recommended this business model to Epic as well for Paragon. I think this would have been the best business model possible. The problem is that they have one character that is only with real money can you buy that character. Now, well, what's the problem? There's like all these other there's 27 characters in the game right now. So, well, you have 26 other characters. What's the problem? The problem is MOBAs are innately competitive, and if you lock off a resource, even by any small amount, even if it's only worth $1 to buy, even if you lock that up, that still changes the competitive aspect of the game. It still de-levels the fair playing field, and it just leaves you with a sour taste in your mouth. Like, and it's a really good character too. They're really good. They're
of course.
really strong. They're totally meta, and you can only imagine that. Okay, well, even if there was the argument like, oh, they're not meta, they can balance and patch anytime they want. So they can balance, that hero and make that hero way better while they balance out everybody else. And then now they're stuck behind a paywall. And now you're like, oh, okay, well, now I'm just getting shredded in games because I chose not to spend money on this game. Somebody else did. And it's just unfortunate. Like they are trying to come out with a hero pass where it's like you pay like $100 or something, and then you just get all the heroes in the game unlocked,
like Smite
or whatever it is, like Smite, exactly, just like Smite. But they've been delaying this pass as well, and they haven't been coming out with that. So I don't know. It's not even a matter of if that hero is OP or not. It's just the simple gesture. It's the action. It's like somebody just spitting in your face. Like someone spit in your face. In reality, just wipe the spit off and go on with your day. Nothing bad happened. But you understand that when someone spits in your face, that is really, really, really disrespectful. And so this, I think, is very similar. It's kind of just like a middle finger to the community. Like, yeah, we're really just in it for the money. So give us your money. And that's kind of unfortunate to see, because at first, the worst part about it is that at first, it was said that this was just a bug, that they were going to fix this. This was just a bug, that it's not supposed to be this way, that it's supposed to be like everybody else. You can either grind in game and get them with the currency, or you can just spend real money and get them flat out. But then, the statement came out today where it was like there was some misinformation, rumors, blah, blah, blah. That's not the case. This character is going to be only with real money in the foreseeable.
Doing this, so we're going to keep doing it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Paragon did kind of the same thing. They started locking skins there for a little bit behind loot boxes. The way you couldn't.
Right.
You could only get those skins via loot boxes, which
they have the same exact thing in this game too. There's only specific skins, but behind loot boxes. But skins or whatever, it's cosmetics. It doesn't change the gameplay at all. It doesn't block off part of the game. Like, I understand, like when you buy a game and you want to buy an expansion pack or something, you pay for that expansion pack. But this is like the full game. Like, this person was in the original roster, but they're gonna they're doing it backwards, so they're taking it back and locking them behind this. And I don't know. I just know a lot of people who are really, really upset about this right now. And I got some people here in my Twitch chat, because I'm live streaming this right now, and they're talking about like, well, yeah, it's a business, it's a corporation. They're in it for profit, obviously. Obviously, they're in it for profit. Every single business is in it for profit. But this seems like kind of like they're just trying to get the short-term gain, and they're going to lose a lot in the long term, because this really hurts the image of the company, and it just leaves a sour taste in a lot of people's mouth. And I what's the point of getting a couple extra $100 from people buying the skin if people are just going to stop playing your game and your servers aren't going to have enough people to play it on? And the reason I'm talking so much about it is because I'm very frustrated, because like I said, this game has a lot of potential. This game has a lot of potential. It has a lot of cons that they can fix. Like Mandy said, it's very easy to fix them. It's a new studio. This is their first big game. It's understandable. And honestly, for a first big game for the studio, it's incredible. It's really, really good, and it's really, really fun, and it's very pretty too. Like the graphics and animations and everything, very, very clean. It even has a campaign mode, Mongoose. It even has a PvE mode, kind of like an RPG, where in these random mystery boxes, sometimes you can get like gear that you can equip your character with, and then go into this campaign mode and fight against AI with your friends and team up, kind of like Diablo, basically. So it has a lot to offer. It has a lot to offer, and it's a lot of fun and has a lot of potential. But doing these little things that chip away at it is just so heartbreaking to see, because I want this game to succeed. I'm very passionate about it. I really like it. It just came out of nowhere. It's like a diamond in the rough. I just picked it up, and this is basically the closest thing that console players will have to a game like League of Legends or Dota 2. And I fear that if this game leaves a sour taste in their mouth, then they're going to have like a negative stigma about other MOBAs on other consoles. And it's just kind of sad to see, because this seems like such a dumb mistake on their part. I just feel like, I don't know who their marketing manager is or what's going on, but like, I don't understand how you just reason that that is a good thing to do. It just completely, like, I can't even fathom that. So, but overall, the game itself, like we said, it's fun, needs a lot to work on. That's just how all MOBAs are. If you remember, League of Legends started off, it was not in the same place where it is right now.
Yeah.
League of Legends right now is a million times better than League of Legends when it started. That's just kind of how MOBAs are, especially if they're in it for the long term. So those are my that's what I got out of the game. It's a giant summary.
I think that was very, very well said. And there was a lot of stuff I was not aware of any of the microtransaction debacle. So that's interesting. Kind of my like summary of my takeaway was, this is a really fun party game. Like, if you can get your friends together and build a team, like, that's when you're going to have the most fun, I think. So, I mean, what's wrong with that? That's fun. So
we've been having a lot of fun on stream. We've been having a lot of fun. Oh man, honestly, we just play the game and we just talk about life and we talk about the stupidest shit, because it is, I hate to use this term, but it is more of a casual MOBA.
Right.
It's not like like when I was playing League of Legends, dude, I felt like I was trying to get 3 PhDs at once. I'm playing game. Like, I'm thinking about like my summoner spells and these timers and when to rotate and this character's counter and this character's counter and then the rune pages, and it's like there's so much that I always got to be thinking about. I literally had to study for like 2 hours on YouTube before I started to become better in League, just because there's so much. But this game, it's like jump in, kill some shit, have a good time. That's about it. But at the same time, there are those deep mechanics that I talked about if you like that kind of stuff. It's just not as deep as those other games, like I mentioned, like Dota 2 or League of Legends, obviously.
Yeah, and go ahead, Goose.
Well, I was just going to say, it sounds like with the respawn timers, at least, that's a pretty standard comeback mechanic for a lot of MOBAs, is to have shorter respawn timers for being at a lower level. But it sounds like with this game, with the 60 kill cap, having a shorter respawn timer at a lower level just means that you're going to get back in there and feed even faster. So I think that was a comeback mechanic that they probably pulled from other games that ended up biting them in the ass because they had the 60 kill cap. So one or the other needs to go.
Yeah,
I think. I mean, I've never played the game, but it sounds to me like one or the other needs to go.
No, and I agree. And the developers are trying to make this game unique, which it is unique. Like I said, there are multiple unique aspects about it, especially the bosses dropping items that can then be dropped for the other team if you die. I think that's really cool. But and I don't think they want to get rid of that kill limit either, because that's also another pretty unique thing that I haven't seen in other MOBAs. So that's why I propose a solution of shorter respawn timers. Another thing that I forgot to mention, which is really freaking important actually about this game, is that it's completely controller only, which makes sense because it's on PS4. But when it comes out on PC, they're planning to bring it to Xbox One. They're planning to bring it to Switch even. Everything's going to be crossplay, and everything's going to be controller only. So PC players will have to use controllers as well. That's at least their vision with the game as it is right now, which also is very unique because MOBAs on PC, mouse and keyboard is the first thing you think about. So a lot of interesting things with this game. This game is very, very interesting, and I think it can either blow up or it could tank in the next month. It all depends. It all depends on the decision that these developers make and how they want to address the community.
Now, would you say that having playing with a controller on Genesis would be more limiting than playing Paragon with a controller? If you see what I'm saying.
I think Genesis would work better if you had that mouse and keyboard, simply because of the way the targeting system works. It's hard to like specifically target what you're going for.
Yeah,
But
that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
yeah, because like in League, you just click on them and that's it. Because with the isometric MOBAs, the way the camera's looking down, you have a lot of stuff stacked on top of each other, so it might be hard to choose which target you want. I think Paragon worked splendidly with a controller, and I think if Paragon was controller only, that would be totally fine. Genesis also works with the controller. I think there are certain things they need to fix, and I don't know if they just have enough buttons on the controller. Maybe they just need more buttons, and that would prompt them to switch to keyboard instead, to maybe help with that. But no, yeah, I think both could work with controller.
Yeah, I know in your video you were saying you had to play with the claw.
Well,
formation
that's
a
not
little
always. That's only when you try to ping. And like Mandy said, the ping system is very lackluster. There's no like little audio thing saying that, oh, this person pinged. If they're trying to ping on the map, there's like a yellow exclamation mark that pops up on the map, but it doesn't really make any sound or anything. So you really have to spam the shit out of it. And when you're spamming it, just the way everything is set up, like I said, you don't have many buttons. You're standing still. You're not farming. You're not attacking. So you're spending all your time trying to spam this ping, and it takes away obviously from your time in your farm. And then, yeah, when somebody pings, it's just like on the left, like little text, like a little chat box. It's not like in the middle of the screen like it was in Paragon, like retreat or whatever. So there's that. But apparently my chat is telling me that they're currently working on increasing the respawn timers. So I was actually unaware of that.
Oh.
If that is true, if that is the case, and that's good, that means they're listening very quickly. They've also had a lot of server issues off launch, which honestly I'm not surprised about.
Yeah, that's like every game.
That's like every game, which is why I really don't bring it up as a con.
Right.
They have been trying really hard to fix it. That's always their number one thing that they're trying to fix, is they are like, okay, servers are down, we're fixing them. Okay, get them back on. We're trying to reduce ping, and they've done that a lot. So they're working on it. So like, it's so weird because in some aspects they're really good at communicating, and they're really on top of trying their best to fix all their problems as quick as they can. And then on the other hand, I guess higher up in corporate, someone's like, yeah, let's just make this one character with premium currency for whatever reason, just to flip them off. I don't know. I'm still baffled by that.
One thing I've noticed while watching, one thing I've noticed people not doing is moving their map around, which is something you need to do in an isometric top-down. Is there no way to move your map? Like your character is centered, like, which is a mode you can do in LoL, Dota, or Heroes of the Storm, whatever. But you can also unlock that so that you can view further ahead or behind you. Can you do that?
Yeah, there is a setting where you can do that.
Okay.
You can unlock it, and then you just use the right stick and you pan around, and if you click on the right stick, it centers back in on you. So you can do that.
Nice.
You can do that, and you can keep running with your left stick. So as long as you don't bump into any walls or anything. So if you know, like, with the layout and everything, you can just run and then have your camera somewhere else and looking. But you cannot attack and pan at the same time, unless you have auto attack set on, which is a thing where you press the attack button once on like a minion or something, or on a jungle camp, and then it'll just keep attacking that camp until it dies, which I don't like to have that setting on because sometimes it messes me up in lane. So if you have that setting off and you try to pan while farming, it's not going to work. So there are things that can be optimized, but there is that setting.
Okay, good. Another question I had, like Paragon, if you were good at first-person shooters, you could almost pretty much carry yourself through gold, maybe even to platinum, just through twitch reflexes, good aim. In Genesis, can you do that with just twitch reflexes, or is it more about the game knowledge?
Isometric MOBAs are typically more about the game knowledge, but Genesis holds your hand a lot. And what I mean when I say that is, not only are the auto attacks auto, and they don't miss basically. The skill shots in the game, and there are a lot of skill shots, when you pull up the targeting thing, whether it's like an AoE or like a line, if you're shooting like a laser beam or something, when you pull that up, it automatically, like, it's like aim assist in Call of Duty. Like, it automatically puts the cursor on top of the enemy or the nearest enemy. So if you're just really bad at aiming, all you have to do is just get close to the enemy and click the button. You don't even need to aim it, because if you click it, it's already on top of it anyway. And so it holds your hand a lot. I actually also almost never really aim most of my abilities unless it's like a last second thing where I have to like flick my right stick. But that also holds the hand of a lot of people, which I don't know if they're going to change that or not. And that also adds to the casual feel of the game, which again, I don't know if that's a bad thing or not.
Right.
I just know that MOBAs usually their strongest suit is the ranked mode. That is what pulls people in. That is what carries the game's lifespan. That is what makes $1 million tournaments happen, as in the case of Dota 2 and League of Legends. Like, that is what people show up for. People want to be the best of the best. And if the skill ceiling is too low, there's too much of a helping hand, then there's only so far you can go to the top until people get bored, and it's not as intense to watch. Because the thing that makes Dota 2 and League of Legends so fun to watch is there are things that those pro players can do that like you and I will never be able to do, because there is just that boundary. It's just so high up there that we're too busy with our jobs, we're too busy with our lives. We'll never be that good. But watching someone else be that good is like the craziest thing in the world. I don't know if you've ever watched League of Legends esports, but it is so much fun to watch. It is so cool to watch. The reason I went back to League is so I could play the game just a smidgen enough to learn to understand what's happening in front of me, just so I could watch the esports of it, because it's just so dope. And I think Paragon could have pulled that off too, which makes me very upset that it never came out with a ranked mode and it just kept doing that. I also talked about that in my today's video. But yeah, I think that this game, if it wants to go for a really, really long time and be on the market for a really, really long time, I appreciate that it's trying to be unique, but there is an issue when you try to be too unique that people just don't get. Like, you're just trying to do too much, and your fundamentals and your foundation just falls through. So yeah. I hope it works out. I really like this game and see potential in it. I hope it works out, and I hope it's not another Paragon. Yeah.
That hits me in the feels.
Dude, we're only like a week and a half in, and I'm already thinking about that.
Yeah.
I'm paranoid.
We've been hurt.
I have trust issues now.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, is it anybody else have any? You guys have anything else to say about Genesis?
I think I'm good. I mean, like I said, I didn't expect to like it as much as I do. My first couple of games, I was like, I hate this. I hate it. I'm not playing this. And then I don't know why, I was like, that did kind of scratch that itch. So let me dip my toes back into it. And just the more I play it, the more I fall in love with it. I'm having fun. I'm having fun with it. And that's all I can ask for right now.
That's the most important part.
Yeah. Yep. So I'd say if you have been hesitant, you haven't given it a try yet, go ahead. Go for it. You have really nothing to lose.
It's absolutely free.
Yeah.
Just grab a group of buddies. Just go in there and fuck around and kill some shit.
Yeah.
Have a good time. Have a good time.
I'll be in there with you guys eventually.
Yay.
I think that's going to wrap it up for the topic for discussion. I hope Britik was able to educate you guys on Genesis, and Mandy made several great points as well. But we're going to move on to plugs. Britik, what do you got to plug, brother?
You can find me on YouTube, Twitch. I've been streaming every single day. Twitter, @BritikHD for all of those. I've been making Genesis tips and tricks guides just like I did back in the Paragon days. You already know that's what I do. That's what I love to do. If you want more info on Genesis, you guys can come on over to my channel, youtube.com/BritikHD. You can watch me fuck around with my friends live on Twitch as well, at BritikHD. My stream schedule is listed below my stream on Twitch. And then Twitter. Follow me on Twitter because I tweet out when I go live. And you guys can also join my Discord channel, but that's in the description of my YouTube videos. You guys can find the links everywhere over there. That's about it. I'm just your typical online personality.
Right on.
Nice.
Mandy?
I mean, I Twitch occasionally. I haven't been doing the YouTube too much lately, but like I said, I do want to make a standalone Genesis video. I feel like that's something I would be interested in. Maybe the public would be interested to hear my opinions on the game, even though I kind of just said them all. But yeah, so maybe look out for that if I have time to get it done.
Right on. So we'll never see that video. You should. You should stream it. Have you streamed Genesis yet? I've been way too busy to watch your streams. I'm really sorry. I really do enjoy your streams. But...
Oh, thanks. That's a rare actual compliment from you.
Right?
No, I haven't streamed it yet because I try to stream things where I can be really, really engaged with the.
Yeah, that's true.
And I get so into Genesis that I'm like, I wouldn't even be paying attention to my chat. Unfortunately, I would just be like, kill.
Yeah, when things get intense, it is a little hard reading the chat, but also a lot of fun because it's a new game, and for a lot of people, it's their first MOBA, and there's a lot of questions. There's also, like, what I like about this game is there's not just one set build that is the best build, and everyone's going to build the same build, and this is what you should do each and every single game. Builds change game to game, depending on the enemy team comp and all that, too. So it keeps it a little more fresh. You can experiment with a lot of things. You can see what you like, what you don't like, and you can really get good with the stuff that you like, even if it's not the most meta thing, because it will still work.
Yeah.
So I think that's really cool about it, too.
True. Good point.
Right on. I got nothing to plug this week. We'll leave you again with a question. And I just thought this one up, so I don't really have a prepared answer this time. If you could use one ability from Paragon in real life, what would it be? And I'll give you guys a little time to think about it, because I thought about it, and I think it would be Drongo's gag grenade, because the ability to make a whole bunch of people just shut the fuck up would be... Oh, so nice at my job. So nice. So.
Wow, that is a great question. I have to think about that for a second. It's any ability, right? Any ability?
Any ability.
Oh, man. I gotta think about this.
The first one that comes to my mind, and it's similar to your answer, Goose. I really like the idea of having phases blind, because then I could just like run away from people that I don't want to be.
just ninja vanish.
Yes, like, oh god, I'd maybe like run into someone in the grocery store. No, and you just run away.
Watch them.
Oh, I think you muted your mic.
Yeah, I think you hit your mic or something.
I did indeed.
Wow.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, I think. Well. Yeah, wow, you guys are violent.
You can tell we're people persons.
You guys want to hurt others. I want to benefit myself. I think I would go with Kalari's invisibility, or I would go with Wraith's rewind ability, but make it so that it's not just like one person. Make it so like I can rewind myself if I mess up or something. I can just go back in time.
That's a good one.
You know, so yeah, I'll probably be one of those.
I'm just thinking of ways I don't have to interact with people.
That's always the same route.
When people ask me what my favorite what my superpower of choice is, and it's not flying. If you answer flying, you're a basic ass bitch. All right, the superpower of choice for me is time manipulation, freezing time, fast forwarding, slowing, basically like the movie Click, but with more control. I think that'd be really, really cool, because then you could pretty much do anything and everything you want.
Mm-hmm.
Control time, the rest of it is space, and you could just walk through that space. So you basically control both at that point.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah,
very interesting. All right, I think that's going to be it for the show. Leave in the comments below what Paragon ability you would like to have in real life. But that's going to wrap it up for now. This is the For the Minions crew signing off. You guys have a good one. Good show, guys. Good show.
Yeah.
Easy.
Man, Goose.
It is fun because I'm doing research that may or may not help us find a cure for multiple sclerosis. We'll stay tuned for that. Yeah, we'll stay tuned for that. We'll see if that ever happens.
Yeah.
Rank #1 jungler in Genesis and curing multiple sclerosis.
I mean,
just the small stuff.
A man of many talents.
Both of those are on my Tinder profile.
Yes, well, they should be.
Let me into your jungle, girl. I'll find the best route.
So you guys about ready to get going? Mandy, I know you had to take a poop there. And it looks like it was a good one because your hair's all wet.
I was taking a shower.
A real nice diarrhea.
He's forever telling people I have diarrhea.
Sweating it out. All right.
Yes, I am ready. I have pooped. I am ready.
Excellent.